It's a pleasure to welcome you to lesson 49 at LutherBlacklockGolf.com. Over the last 18 months or so, we've been building an archive of video footage and articles, all to help you build a golf swing. Now, when I say build a golf swing, you know that my style is to teach the shot and the swings for free. But we can't help talking about the swing because it's the technical part. When you're out on the golf course, I want you to focus on the shot and building a score. But of course, on the lesson tee and the practice ground, then you can talk about the mechanics of the swing and talk about the swing itself. So really, you've got to have one head for driving a car and another for having it in the garage. There's a time to think about playing and there's a time to think about your swing. But one of the nice things about the interaction between the people who have subscribed to LutherBlacklockGolf.com is they send me emails and tweets and questions. So we thought that we would do a series called True or False, and try and cast sort of light and expose some of the false things that we hear about the golf swing and try and establish some of the truths. And between true and false, there may be a few maybes as we go along. You can't be absolutely categoric in all areas. So let's start with one of the most common things at the start of playing golf, and particularly if you start as a child or if you have children of your own or friends you're encouraged to play golf, one of the first questions to be dealt with is, which hand do you use? For many years, it was believed that it was good for a left-handed golfer to play with right-handed clubs. And 40 years ago, there was very little choice of equipment. So I think some people were hedging that and not accepting the fact that if you're a right-handed person in all you do with racket sports and throwing balls, well, why wouldn't you be a right-handed person when it comes to playing golf? So if you're not sure, the test that I ask is, if you're going to spin a pebble across a pond, which hand would you use? So if I gave you a nice round pebble and I spun it across the water and get, you know, like a Barnes Wallis, ducks and drakes, the ball skips along or the pebble skips over the water surface. Now why did it skip across the surface? Well, there's velocity, there's hand speed and there's angle of attack, but most importantly there's spin. You see, it's a very precise art spinning a pebble. You have to hold the ball, right in the crook of your index finger. Your index finger can't be on top nor underneath. It has to be behind the ball if it's going to impart any real spin. Can you imagine me trying to spin a pebble on the backhand of my left hand? It would be pretty pathetic. That's about the best I can do. Now, it's often confusing for parents because little Johnny or Susie picks up a golf club and most of the time they'll pick it up cack-handed and they'll start to practice and play. And mum and dad mistakenly think, oh, they're cack-handed, they're left-handers. Please, please, please don't fall into that trap. Which hand do you throw a ball with? Which hand do you throw a dart with? Which hand would you skim a pebble with or play table tennis and tennis? Now, that's quite an easy thing to discern in a right-handed person. Why is that? Well, I'm a right-hander. I live in a right-handed world. So I don't have to tackle things like scissors and checkbooks and guitars and hockey stick because they're made for right-handers. A lefty lives in a right-handed world, and therefore a lefty is much more prone to improving the motor skill of the left hand, and almost they seem ambidextrous. So there are left-handed golfers who do very well with right-handed clubs, but again, if I was at the start of someone's golfing career and they said, which hand do I use, I would go for the tennis racket hand or the pebble skimming hand. Now, never say never. It's a 95% rule for me. There's always an exception that proves the rule. But broadly, the hand that spins a pebble is the one we use for golf. So, taking the mechanism that I spun the pebble with and I clip the club into it, what actually it means is that this pebble skimming mechanism in my right hand is now extended by the length of the club head. So now I can sort of spin pebbles for you right hand only. I can make quite a creative sound there, get a little bit of draw spin going. You can hear the second shot was really sweet, okay? So, it's quite remarkable how far the ball goes just off that racket hand. So let me just show you with my backhand of my left hand. I think I'd really struggle, okay? Classic. Slices out onto the buggy path, we'll never see it again. I've got to really try. See, trying to get topspin on my backhand is really, really difficult. That's about the best I can do. So I think you can see that my right hand is 70% effective as opposed to 45–50% effective in the left hand. So if you've been playing golf for a long time, it's too late to change. Just do what you can. For me, I'm playing tennis on my forehand. If you're a lefty, you're playing on your backhand. The key is, with the corporate grip, as long as you can know how to control the club face, you'll be all right. But just going back to the beginner or your children, if they're starting, always use the pebble skimming test. And with children, throw the ball onto the floor and then let them pick it up, because the hand they pick it up with will also be an indication to which side they should use. So hopefully that's one myth. We can forget that lefties should play right-handed and vice versa. We go with the pebble skimming mechanism, and then we don't fall into any traps.